Hello everyone and welcome back to our One Education series. It's your girl Maya here along with two guests. Go ahead and introduce yourself, ladies. We'll start here.
Hi, Angela Seminario with Guaranteed Rate.
And
Mona Phillips, Realty One Group, Elite, and her mother.
yes! So today you may be wondering why I have these amazing two guests with me. Well, today we're going to be doing an amazing video about the home buying process in 2022 and talk a little bit about my personal home buying process at the age of 24. And I'm in the Bay Area. So it was a great process, but I really couldn't have done it without these amazing two people next to me, along with your amazing team and your amazing team, of course. So it was a process, but it was so worth it. We're also going to get into a little bit towards the end about how the process has changed in the past few months as well. Interest rates are different, and so the home buying process is a little bit different than when it was a couple months ago when I bought. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, go for
it.
it.
Okay. So when I first got into the home buying process, there was a lot of paperwork that needed to be given. I felt like my entire life was on the line. So I felt like I couldn't do anything without it like being looked at. So I don't know, Angela, if you want to talk about that process and what it's like getting pre-approved. A lot of people don't even know that you have to get pre-approved to begin with. So.
Definitely, and one of the things that happened with us that was, pretty common for most first-time home buyers is when we started, we didn't qualify at that moment.
Yes.
And so what we did is something that's very important, and it's called preparation. And so we worked for a couple months. We prepared a little bit of credit. We had to wait for some more time on the job, and basically just getting all of the pieces in place. But you are correct. During that time, we reviewed everything, almost the DNA, almost.
Right. Very
That's how you felt.
We didn't take blood? What happened?
She felt very invaded, right?
Yes, it's a lot.
But it's okay. I mean, what happens is that when we're analyzing a potential home buyer's profile for their loan, there are certain steps we have to go to. And the main things are going to be income, employment, credit, and assets. So basically, how much do you make? How much do you owe? What's your credit score? And how much money do you have?
You have to get financially naked. That's what I call it.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay, editor, put that in all caps. Financially naked. I feel like that should be the title of the video.
Yep.
Let's get financially naked.
Yes, I say that
YouTube,
all the
don't
time.
demonetize us. Okay.
Oh yeah. And so basically, we met a couple times, we ran a couple scenarios, and
A couple?
Maybe
We
more.
did more than a couple.
Well, when Mona's involved, it's more like 100.
Yes, that's right.
But we gave Maya a really clear list of homework. I love to assign homework.
Yes. The homework was actually the best part because I feel like the way that you structured it, I was able to now like go to my friends and tell them like what I went through because you guys planned it out so well. Like I felt like I was educated, but I now can like help my friends too for something they would never know. Like people ask me all the time.
An unintentional consequence, of
Yes.
not being ready.
Yes.
Is that you had to go through that process, and now you're able to share that knowledge with other people. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. So what was your process like? Well, how did we start this? It was interesting, but it was really beautiful though. It was really great.
Well,
That's not what I heard on it.
you have a mother-daughter dynamic.
Yeah.
There's that.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is emotions, very emotional. The financial piece of that can also be very emotional because sometimes you don't feel good enough. Sometimes you don't feel as though that you might get to that place that Angela is saying, hey, you need to get here. Like, are you kidding me? I get the map, but the map looks a little bit too big for me.
Yeah.
So what I like to do with all of my clients, and especially for my daughter, but I wouldn't treat any of my clients any differently than I treat you, which would be to take it down to smaller bites, right? Let's just spoon feed this. And let's not look at the entire buffet line. Let's just look at one spoonful at a time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the patience part, that consultative part. The part that you really have to have is a team that really is there for you and not for themselves. And I think you'll find that when you have that connection, I know I'm your mother, but at the end of the day, Angela is not related to us. But it wasn't about Angela. It was about you and how it went. Because for her, it's like, oh, well, can't do this loan? Next, I don't have time for you. That was never the approach she took. She took it as an educational moment and a moment of teaching, right? And then you build that trust together. and then from there you can execute. My job as a realtor, although your mother again, is even though that there's that dynamic, it has to be spoon-fed because it can be a lot for the psyche.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And then the finding of the house, that was just, you know,
Well,
that in
you're
itself
20
is
steps ahead though.
Oh, always.
Because we're still in the pre-approval process.
I mean, one of the main
That's
things,
what
3
happens
minutes.
after.
one of the main things that you helped with in the pre-approval process is kind of, you know, gauging the market. Okay, so this is what a place that she might want to qualify for is going for now, but by the time she's ready, it might be a little bit more. So maybe we should try to pre-approve a little higher. Maybe we should put more down payment. Maybe we should pay off some more debt.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you were really great at like the what if scenarios.
It's true.
Well, it's a strategy between everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because I think at the end of the day, it boils down to it's about you, right? We can make all the plans, we can do everything, but it has to be nurtured for you.
Sure.
And then you have to be able to digest it and then execute it as best as you can. So really, it's going to be about good communication and good planning.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really enjoyed was that, Maya, you were always asking questions. And to me, that's a compliment because it means that you have the confidence to reach out and ask questions. And, you know, you're not afraid that I'm not going to answer you because you don't qualify.
Yeah.
You aren't afraid of the answer.
Yeah.
And so
Sometimes.
sometimes I would answer and she's like, huh? What? Why?
Yes.
She got my mom.
Well, a lot of that happened though with the Neighborhood Lift program. I don't know if you both want to get into that as well, and explain what the Neighborhood Lift was and how that can help so many first-time home buyers. I mean, it literally was a saving grace.
We are talking about California.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
there is a very specialized program for the Bay Area. It's called Neighborhood Lift. It's been around for a long time. They do go through periods where they don't have funding, but thankfully we've been very blessed for a lot of our home buyers this year and last year that they've had funding. And a lot of them have obtained the grant. So the grant is $25,000. You can apply it towards down payment or closing cost, however you wish, or a combination of both. But there is a process, and it is a consumer-driven product. So it's not that I can say, oh, there's this grant, let me get it for you. No, there's a lot of steps for you, the home buyer.
Yes.
And I'm sure that the reason why it's set up like that is because they want to make sure that you understand what you're doing.
Exactly.
And that you understand what you're getting into. I know that they go over home buyer education,
Oh, yeah.
budget, and a couple other steps.
Yeah.
But basically, you know, once we were to the point where we were able to pre-approve you, we sent her the link, had her go with the lift, and yeah, it was a couple week process and it was a little confusing at certain points.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's all worth it because
Oh, yeah.
she got $25,000.
$25,000. Do you want to talk about like the 5-year? Because a lot of people will say, "Oh my gosh, $25,000." But
What's
like,
the catch?
is it
What's
yeah,
the catch?
what's the catch? Right? Like, is it really $25,000? Like,
Well, I
and you were
mean-
just explaining that the other day. So
I
it's really
did.
helpful.
And
to
I
talk
explained
about.
it today too
Yeah.
in our meeting.
Yeah.
It's a grant, right? But there are conditions behind that, which is it's 20%. Basically, it's 100% forgivable. However, it's after 5 years. Okay.
So you must live in the
For
property in
5 years. But the great part about it is, let's say life happens, right? Life happens. You need to refi. Life happens. You need to sell it. You can actually, it's in the actual documentation because I read it and I read it to Maya. And it says that each year 20% comes off of the balance. So if you borrowed $50,000 or if it was $25,000, excuse me,
So-
right? A portion of that would be every year 20% would come off the balance. So if it's 3 years, just add it up, there you go. And it's nice that you have that ability to graduate it down.
Exactly. Well, I think another thing is flash forward to outside of my transaction, my home buying process. Now, what month are we in? We're getting ready to be in July. Since things have changed, you can layer the neighborhood lift with something else, right?
Right.
I know we wanted to touch on that today and what that was.
We're gonna do another follow-up video.
Yeah, we should.
That's a lot of information.
That is a lot.
But yes, you can layer neighborhood lift with other local and state products, and it's great because a lot of people are getting a lot more money that was available that was not available prior. And
Right.
so,
Yeah.
Well, we could say what it is and just kind of
Oh,
lead
yeah,
in
for the
the
Cal
next
Half
Sure.
one.
And then
Yeah.
for the next video, we can really
Cal
get into that.
Half 10%. So the 25% we talked about, you can layer, like what Angela said, another 10% of a purchase price, which also falls in that same forgivable environment that I just talked about a few minutes ago, which Angela is game changing.
Correct.
For young people who are just your first time home buyers who are trying to get in. I mean, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
I agree, and I've always believed in these programs, coming from a background where it's not always accessible to have a huge down payment and things like that. I understand.
Yeah.
And so these programs to me have always been very attractive and enticing, and it's always left me wanting to learn more about them.
Yes.
But we can layer it with Tallahassee, but there's also a whole bunch of other ones too.
Yes.
So we're not limited.
Yeah.
We need to get into that in our next one
We
education.
do.
So,
Because
quick
there's a
disclaimer is
Yeah.
for both Neighborhood Lift and Calhaffa forgivable, income limits do apply.
Okay.
Yes.
And can you say them?
Well,
It
they're
changes.
they're different for
Makes sense.
all counties.
Okay, so that's something to make note of, everybody,
Yep.
is they
Yes.
are different. Where can they access that information to see the income limit?
Well, they can just check out this nice little website on the screen. And
right here. So use this, and you can go ahead and access it, and also go ahead and look below. We will go ahead and link it for you as well. I guess we'll wrap it up because we have another video that we're going to get into to go more in depth later. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so
Do
we
it.
know that you want to see another video going more in depth of all these different programs that you can do to get yourself into your first home, or maybe, I don't know, a home for your kid, who knows. So thank you guys
You're very
so much from the
welcome.
bottom of my heart. Like,
It's
it
building
changed my
wealth.
life. Yeah, and
Building
generational wealth and education
And a
is
really
amazing.
a really good part of it for the young people is now they have a mortgage, they're not spending as much anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Not as much boxes coming to their house.
Yeah, Target misses me. I know they do. This is not sponsored though. But thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you both
Congratulations.
for everything.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And we'll have a house tour coming soon. That's not part of One Education, but it will be on this channel. Thank you guys so much again, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye for now.
Bye.